sponsors who make this happen for us. The Scioto River, the Portsmouth UPS store, Brace Yourself Orthodontics, Next Level CrossFit, AB Photography. Thank you to our sponsors. Make sure you check us out on social media. RCSM740. Smash that share, like, and follow button, and give us the opportunity to come see you guys and do a live pregame show. So real quick, run through who we got at the table tonight. To my far right, we got Gavin's Greats with us. To my right, we got Mr. Magic Malachi Rizal. To the far left, we got Landon Lazy Schultz down there. And then next to Landon, we got Johnny on the spot. And then, of course, our special guest for tonight, a man that holds a special place for me, Coach Larry Hall, who coached here at Willisburg. Coach, we appreciate you coming in and joining the pregame show with us tonight.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
So, Coach, just kind of real quick, I want to talk about your years at Willisburg, and then we'll go around the table. We've got some questions for you. So you were 7 seasons at Willisburg from '92 to '98. Your overall record was 64-15 while you were here.
Right.
You had 7 SOC championships, so you never not won the SOC while you were here.
Right.
2 regional championships in '94 and '98. 2 state semifinal appearances in '94 and '98. Outside of that, the thing that's probably the most, to me, impressive out of those 7 years is, in those 7 years, you never lost an SOC conference game.
Because I had pretty good talent and pretty good coaches, that's for sure.
Definitely had some great coaches and talent.
Sure did.
So,
Sure did.
So I know after 7 seasons you decided to leave. What was the reason that you wanted to leave?
Well, I didn't want to, actually. A lot of people didn't know. I want to stay in sub and just get paid the sub pay for a year and a half and then just stay here as the head coach.
Gotcha.
And the board apparently said, no, if you retire, you're done.
Gotcha.
So when they redoing, so I just thought, well, I might as well look for another job because I was only going to make, I think, $100 a month if I just kept doing that. So anyway, I went to Ashland, Kentucky, and had a good time over there. Enjoyed that. Quite a nice place to be. But my heart was always here, of course. So taught here 25 years, coached 21.
Yep.
And born and raised here, taught here. Just enjoyed my time. That's sure.
Gotcha. All right, Gavin, you got a question for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, obviously, I mean, this game every year is a game that you got to really – you circle it on the schedule. Usually it's been week 1. Previous years, we heard back around the time you were coaching, it was later in the year.
Yep.
What's a preparation for this game look like from a coaching standpoint?
We hadn't played them for a long time, quite a while, till I got the head job. And then in '94, my idea was to play Ironton because they're always good. And if you want to know how good are you going to be, you got to play somebody that's good. And the interest and the build-up to the game I thought was fantastic. And then at the end of the year, we're going to play Portsmouth. So I thought, if you're going to open with Ironton and finish with Portsmouth, you got a pretty tough schedule mixing everything else in between. So that's why I wanted to play Ironton, just for what you're going to see tonight. Big crowd, big interest, and again, you'll find out how good you're going to be or you're not going to be.
There was worry that this game wasn't going to happen this year, and I can speak for everyone that I'm glad it did, because this is going to be Berg's litmus test this year.
Personally, and I have nothing to do with any of the thing going on now, of course, but I just liked the opener. That was my thing. You prepare all summer. It's easy to get the kids to work if you know what you're going to see that first week, and you better be ready to go. So I enjoyed that part of it more than probably anything else.
Awesome. Malachi?
I don't got anything, honestly. I don't got anything for Coach Hall.
Soccer guy.
That's because you're a Webster kid. And you're not used to being around football so much.
Football.
It's all right. We'll break you in.
Yeah.
How about you, Landon? Coach, question for Coach?
The mindset after winning, let's say, the first 4 years you were coaching, never losing an SOC game, how'd you keep your players motivated after they may have got a big head, a big ego, thinking, oh, we're going to breeze through the SOC? How'd you keep them down, grounded, and work harder towards a regional championship?
Well, we knew that we played a tough schedule, and the playoffs were going to be even tougher. And we tried to build a confidence, which I thought we did by the schedule we played. And then just going in there, it's all one-game seasons there. All tournaments, of course, are that way. So the kids here have always been, I'm talking about back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way through. The kids here in Willisburg grow up through the school system and through the parents and the community, they want to win. The community expects them to win. You grow up as a first, second, third, fourth grader. You may not play sports, but you may be in the band and some other things. You expect to win. You expect to be good at what you're doing. And so the community is not going to take you being just mediocre and just doing things so-so. The community says, we want your best, whatever it is and whatever sport you're playing, and you better be really good at it and you better work hard at it.
I agree. I think, growing up here, my two oldest kids, graduated from here, both being state champions, one in softball, one in football. In my line of work, dealing with a lot of people in this area and even in the tri-state, the one question I always get is, what separates Willisburg from everybody else? And I just tell them, listen, it's from the time that you started Willisburg, I don't care if it's kindergarten or your first day you walk in as your senior year, it is you piss excellence and you win at all costs.
Yeah, I know.
And there's no off season. It is you are training for whatever that sport is. I said that is what has always separated Willisburg historically about preparation and going into season after season.
Very true. And then I know since I've been out a little bit, I pick up this website, and I see that on Fridays, the kids are out in the hallway singing the school song, and they wear orange and black. So the tradition starts when they're in grade school, and they just grow up with it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be football necessarily, but whatever you're going to do, it could be the band, the soccer, it could be volleyball or whatever, your best is expected here, and that people don't want you to do anything less than that.
And I think it is part of the reason that a lot of people in this area have always resented Willisburg. I think it's not so much just because all the success they have across the board, but it's not being able to figure out why and how they got that to the point they got that success.
And again, that's again the community. It's a culture, as they say nowadays. It's a culture, and so just like with Ironton, the culture was there under Bob Lutz forever. That you will win. You are going to win 8 or 10 games, and you're going to go far in the tournament. That's expected out of the community up there. It wasn't so much in the other sports, but here at Willisburg, I think it pertains to all the sports.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not just football here. It's not just basketball here. It's not just soccer or softball, even though they've done obviously won 3 state championships in softball. But again, the expectations of the community, I think, of the culture that you grow up in here, and the other places around, I'm sorry, but around the county don't have that culture.
Yeah, I agree. They don't. And speaking of culture, Johnny, and I'll get back with you for your question. Speaking of culture, I think it's, you were at Green last year. Was it last year, right?
Yeah.
You was at Green. You left Jackson. I know you were subbing at Green. You took the Green job. Just kind of talk about over the years so you went from Willisburg to Ashland to Northwest to East to Jackson with your son, and then of course to Green. Kind of talk real quick about the changes you've seen over the years. One, in how football is coached and taught, because I know it's not the same now as when I played for you. I guarantee you that. And two, the second part of that question is, how different are kids these days than what they used to be?
From my standpoint, I don't see a lot of difference in, particularly like again in Ashland and Jackson. Andy's developed a culture there at Jackson. It's win.
Yes.
We're going to win. We're going to work hard. We're going to win. And he doesn't have any trouble motivating those kids. And same thing here with Rob. I think again, the culture helps you feed into that. We expect you to win. We expect you to work hard. And the kids don't have a negative attitude here like they do in many places. I know a lot of times other schools will be like, well, I'm not going out this year because so-and-so ain't going to play. I'm not going out this year because we probably aren't going to be very good.
Yeah.
That does not enter the situation in Jackson or Willisburg. You're going to play.
Yeah.
You're just going to play that sport that you grow up with. And it's no question that, that you're not going to play. And if you decide you're not going to play, everybody wonders, well, why aren't you playing?
Yeah.
They expect you to be out there if that's something that you do and enjoy.
Yeah. And I think part of that is, when you have success, that breeds numbers and breeds happiness. Yeah. So you get those numbers out and you get those kids out. But I think the one thing that I've seen over the last several years is kids are soft. There's an entitlement to kids these days. They don't put as much work in as what I guess would be the old school mentality was. And I know I've had parents, over the years say, well, kids are multi-sport athletes. Willisburg and every school in this area has always been these schools who were not able to have kids to specialize in one sport, was not large enough, right? So that is an excuse. I blame it on parents and letting their kids be soft these days.
The thing is, I was fortunate enough to work Ohio State football camp in the late '90s, worked 5 years, and the thing I learned from those and there was college coaches, 50 college coaches were there, not just Ohio State, but the thing I learned from talking to them at all levels, they wanted people that were two-sport players.
Yep.
Particularly Ohio State has been that way. The big-time guys, they want somebody that's done two sports. The specialization is not as good as everybody seems to think it is. On the internet and everything, your child has got to be all around this, all year that. The orthopedic surgeons will tell you this is not good because you're using the same muscles all the time, and you're going to lead to particularly knee injuries and broken bones and shoulder injuries because you're specializing. And I'll give you one good example that just shocked me when I first worked for Ohio State camp. Orlando Pace was up there his freshman year, and I was coaching with a line, and he was obviously a beast and 6'8", 265 pounds. I asked his high school coach something about him. He said, "Well, you think he's good?" And I said, "Y'all seen him play basketball?" And I said, "What? He plays basketball?" I said, "Yeah, he jumps center, 6'8". But he said, and then when he gets the rebound, he leads the fast break, and he'll do a 360 dunk on you. And I mean, of course, it's an NFL Hall of Fame today.
Exactly.
But the thing that you'll find that these kids, particularly at Ohio State, I told my kids here in Ashland, go to a camp because you're going to see what's out there. Because you're pretty good here.
Yeah.
Maybe you run 4.7 40 here. They don't even look at you unless they're 4.5.
Exactly.
They don't even look. And you've got your vertical and things. And there's such a thing as we in coaching called eye test.
Mm-hmm.
You look at guys and you're like, hey, he looks like he can play.
Yep.
And some of these guys now that like Jeremiah Smith, these guys, I'm telling you, they, in a nice way now, they are freaks.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They are freaks. They're not the normal.
They're different level kids coming out of high school now.
You don't see those kind of players barely. They're unique.
Yes.
No, you don't run into them. You really don't.
Yes.
I had one at Ashland, Arliss Beach, and
I was going to tell that story, but go ahead.
He rushed for 2,700 yards his senior year, 44 touchdowns, and he only had 3 games that carried over 20 times. And he wanted to carry more and play more. I said, you know what? If you play more and got hurt, your mom and dad won't come down here and beat me up for getting you injured in a big win. So, no, you're staying right here. I'm going to protect you and all. But he was able to go to the University of Kentucky, and he got to play a couple years time with the Green Bay Packers and one summer camp with the Cowboys. But he played basketball and he ran track, and he was a heck of a basketball player now. Played point guard, and he could just blow right by you, and great attitude, great work ethic, and he was one of those big, like a positive freak.
Oh, yeah.
Type of guy.
Oh, yeah.
And so that separates them out now.
Absolutely.
You need to play. I told last thing on this on that. I told kids, sometimes the kids will come up and say, "Coach, I don't think I want to play football." I said, "Okay, it's all right." I said, if you don't like a sport, then don't play it.
Yep.
You have to really like whatever it is you're doing. And there's no shame in not playing that sport or whatever grandma think you ought to do it somebody else. That's immaterial. Do you like it, and do you want to play it?
Yep.
If you do, then you do it, and do it the best you can do it.
Got it. Gavin.
Real quick, I'm gonna make my picks, and then I gotta head upstairs for the live stream tonight.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So college games, real quick. I got Georgia at home. They're gonna win. I'm rolling with Radar's Ducks. They're gonna win. Is it a whiteout game or no?
Yes.
They're gonna win in the whiteout.
Yep.
Bucks win and cover against the Huskies. My one upset pick for the other high school games. 5-point dogs at home, Gallia Academy. I'll take that every day of the week. And then for tonight's game, this goes out to the guy that sat 2 rows in front of me for my entire life at church, Coach Hall, telling me about how excited he is for football all summer. Berg, they're going to win it with defense and field goals tonight. Berg's defense is good enough this year that they're going to get the job done.
All right, Gavin, we appreciate your time. Good luck with the live stream on the Berg website. It's always an honor to have you here, and we love listening to you on the live stream as well. Good luck. Johnny, you got a question for Coach?
I know kind of been talking, but I guess with the dominant coaching that you had back in the '90s, I mean that's a fantastic record you have right there. What would you say? Because most of these guys already hit it. What would you say if you was now trying to teach these newer coaches what they could do to be also a dominant record like you had back then?
Well, one of the first things I think you got to care about the kids, and they got to know that you care about them. If they know you care about them, they'll do anything that you ask within reason. So, as coaches, you got to show that you care about the kids, and coaches do, most of them, because they won't coach if they don't. I was fortunate enough, I was in this profession 52 years. I really doubt that too many people in the state or anywhere coach 50 years. And it's because I enjoyed kids, I enjoyed what I was doing. And one thing I need to say that helped a lot was an attitude I took, and Andy's done it at Jackson. Everybody complains about why their kid playing. We let kids challenge for a position. If you think you're better than the other guy, you challenge him. It's one-on-one. If you whip him, you got his job. That saves all. I never had a parent conference ever.
I think it's because they have to prove it. They got to prove that they're the best in that position.
Exactly.
And it puts you out of it. You know what I mean?
You just saw your son.
That's old school right there. That's old school.
Hey, listen, I can vouch for it because it was Wednesdays was D-Day. That was defensive day. We went through all our defensive stuff. And before we went to conditioning, the last 35 to 40 minutes of practice with Coach Hall was challenge hour. So if you thought you were better than the guy across from you, you had 5 opportunities, and whoever won, when you walked in on Friday, that name was on the board for who was starting.
That's how it goes right there.
There was no ifs, ands, or buts. It was no mommy, daddy calling, I promise.
Wow.
So, Landon, you got another question for Coach?
Just a little bit about this game. Going into it, week 1, just like the communities around it, everyone's around it. Willisburg, Ironton, one of the best rivals in all of the state of Ohio. Just going into the game, how were you feeling, and how did you keep your team going, especially for this game?
Well, it's easy because you had all summer, in particular in August. You knew most days we were going against Bob Lutz, and of course, you knew what he was going to do. Bottom line is stopping it, which everybody can't do. You know what he's going to do on defense. Same thing, you got to move the ball. We won 2, he won 3. We had a close win, a blowout win. He had a close win, a blowout win, and then another one was down the wire type thing. So we were right in there, playing. And again, if you can play with Ironton, you can play with close to everybody. So I told him, it's a measuring stick right here. You see how good you are or how good you're not.
I'd agree, Coach. It definitely, when you play Ironton, you really get to see on that measuring stick where you're at, where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. And I think it's a good opportunity going into the following week of, okay, we know where our weaknesses are, what are we going to do? And I think it's a great game. And I do think the advantage somewhat goes to Willisburg now, moving this game to week 6 rather than week 1. Because I feel that over the years, since Coach Woodward has been here, as his season has progressed, and right before they would go into SOC play and stuff, they were clicking on all cylinders later in the season, which is no different than any other sport. So I feel like tonight, this might be the opportunity for Willisburg to get that upper hand on Ironton because they've had going into several weeks of preparation and playing where normally you're catching Ironton right off the rip. And it's, I mean, you guys know it's a crapshoot of what you're going to get on week 1.
Well, it's finding your groove, and that's what it is. These kids are found their groove. I mean, just last week, you watched Willisburg have that dominant win over Valley. I mean, the momentum was with them the whole game, and now with Willisburg having come in, I think that Willisburg definitely has that momentum moving in.
Yeah, and so just overall, so the record between Willisburg and Ironton is 23-14 favored towards Ironton. So kind of gives you a little bit of that team up north in Ohio State kind of factor. You know what I'm saying? So Malachi, you got anything?
Coach Hall, what I want to know is what was your favorite game that you've ever coached?
Good one. Good
That was a good one. So many to pick from.
I couldn't begin to pick one.
Couldn't begin to pick
No, I couldn't begin. There's so many big games, and no, I really don't.
That's a hard question for any coach. I would say ultimately for a coach to be able to truly give an answer to that would be a state championship would probably have to be their favorite. your goals when you come out every year as a coach for your team is obviously you want to win your conference, you want to make the playoffs, win a region, get to the state, and obviously win that. And that's one thing I think these younger kids don't understand these days is, when Coach Hall was around, 4 teams from each region made it.
Right, yeah.
Not 12.
No.
There was 4, and I can remember my freshman year, we were going into Portsmouth 9-0, and we lost to Portsmouth, and we missed the playoffs by .03 points by getting into the playoffs that year. That's how cutthroat playoffs were back then, with 4 teams from each region. Now you got teams that are going 5-5, 6-4 that are getting in. And not saying that they're bad teams, they play pretty tough schedules. That MAC conference up north is a really, really tough conference with Dayton Coldwater and those guys up there. With Coldwater, that's a tough conference up there. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3. There was 4 out of the 6 divisions. There was 4 teams out of one conference that was playing for state championship. They all come out of that one conference. That's impressive.
And one thing that they do up there that's different, just pass it along, that nobody does. Those kids do not play football until 7th grade.
Correct.
There's no Pee Wee football.
Yep.
The kids all play soccer if they want to play something.
Yep.
There's no football until 7th grade.
Correct.
And then the high school coaches step in.
It's almost kind of like you don't have to break bad habits.
Yeah, no bad habits. You learn the way the coaches.
At this time, we would like to recognize the 2025 Division 5 State Softball Champions, Willisburg Pirates.
So, Coach, let's go ahead and get into the picks. Landon, you got a last question for Coach?
Attempting with the presentation of the ring.
Johnny, last question for Coach.
Did everything I wanted.
All right, we're gonna jump right into tonight's picks.
History, and the
So we have
seniors
starting
have been
out.
a part of 3 of those state championships. This team finished their season with a record of 20.
Starting out with college football, we got number 17 Alabama at number 5 Georgia.
They outscored their
I'm going to
opponents
take Georgia in this
2
one.
to
At
15
least,
throughout
I
the
think they
regular
win by 10
season
points.
and
I think it's going to be
63 to
X
4
factor.
during their tournament
Georgia's
run.
quarterback can stay away from the pressure. This one's in Sanford Stadium, and you don't win at Sanford Stadium. Give me
The 2025 seniors are Lincoln Wright, currently on the team.
I was not impressed with Alabama, especially that Florida State game, especially after Florida State's season last year. And
Kalen
give me
Carter,
Georgia.
currently on the
Beat
football
Tennessee.
team at
Give me Georgia.
Memphis University.
Johnny?
I kind of got to go with what these guys are saying. Alabama start off on a rough this year. Usually this game's a big hype game. Usually these guys are both undefeated at this point. This year, I just don't think Alabama's headspace is in the game. I think they want, and on top of that, they're going away to Georgia. Give me the Bulldogs.
Coach?
Georgia.
Georgia juniors and 2
All right,
times champions are.
Next game we got is number 6 Oregon's at Penn State.
Hawkeye. I'm going to take Dante Moore and the Ducks to win this one. I know it's a wideout. I know it's Happy Valley. I know it's Penn State. I know a lot of teams don't come out of there with the win in the wideout game, but Dante Moore almost has 1,000 yards, and he's an early front runner for the Heisman. 11 touchdowns and 1 interception. Give me Dante Moore and the Ducks to win this one in a shootout.
Landon?
I'm going to have to go against Malachi here. Give me Penn State. Drew Aller, one of the best quarterbacks, especially after that college football playoff game last year where he threw an interception towards the end of the game. Seems like he's taking that personal. Penn State's in a row. You don't win at the wideout. Give me Penn State.
Unless you're Ohio State, they do. Go ahead, Johnny.
This one's kind of a hit and miss, man. It's 2 great teams. Really can't take away from either one of them, but I kind of agree with Landon on this one. You're going into Penn State. Penn State has a lot of people returning this year. They were strong last year, just wasn't strong enough to make it all the way. I think this year they come back with some vengeance. Give me Penn State in this one.
Coach?
Penn State until they reach the Buckeyes.
I'm gonna go with Penn State as well. So
Hey, one more thing I got to say about Penn State. They have the weakest schedule in the country out of Power 5 schools. Last thing I'll say about that. So just keep that in your head.
next game we got on the list is Ohio State at Washington. 3:30 kickoff. Malachi, who you got?
Trent Thompson, the radar, he said that people don't come out of Husky Stadium with the win. I'm disagreeing with my boss here. Give me Ohio State by 20.
Wow. Landon.
Peyton Award.
It's a trap game. That's the definition of a trap game. A team that hasn't lost 22 games at home, the quarterback looks as good as Michael Penix Jr. did at Washington. But Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith, give me Ohio State by 10.
Johnny?
I'm a Ohio State fan. You already know I'm going to pick, but I'm going to say this one thing. You got Julian Sand, you got Jeremiah Smith, and now you got Bo Jackson on there. I'm telling you, I don't think Washington wants to get what's coming to them. OH.
IO. Coach?
Buckeyes for sure.
And the head coach of your Willisburg
Pirates
covering the
from there, last year, their defense was really good, obviously, last year. I think they're even better now. That Patricia's in the NFL stopping Tom Brady's and all, Eli Manning's, all those guys. Now they're against college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think for him, it's a easy deal for him to prepare.
I would agree. I think the thing I've been impressed with him coming in there this year is the defense that he runs is with there ain't a kid out there that he recruited or had the opportunity to recruit. Those are the guys that were already there. It is going to be really, really scary in Columbus the next 2 to 6 years when he starts getting recruiting classes in there for his position. Those kids that fit his position. He has molded those kids and bought into the culture he wanted to play that defense. And Sonny Smiles right now, in my opinion, is a first-round draft pick.
Oh, yeah.
A guy that comes in there as a freshman and plays center, puts on 30 pounds and walks in and plays linebacker. His last 2 years as a first-round draft pick. No,
He's a monster. Oh, a bunch of monsters. Again, unique players.
So we'll switch it a little bit. Get out of college football realm. We got Valley at Northwest.
Tonight for the Pirates, they're trying to get another one.
Last week.
That right tackle, number 67, Walton.
Northwest has
That right guard, number 95,
in the last 2 games that Northwest and Valley
At
faced
center,
off.
number
The
64,
Indians don't
Ryan
lose to the
Meeker.
Mohawks. The Mohawks lose to the
And left guard,
Indians
number
every
54,
single time.
Tyson
Give me
Emmett.
Valley to win by 3
And the left
scores.
tackle, number 79, Alex Ricky.
It's a tough one. I was really liking Valley before I seen them play last week.
And wide
Piketon
receiver, number 2.
lost to beat Northwest by 20.
Wide receiver, number 5.
I'm not really impressed with Valley, but I think that they pull it out,
And
especially
wide
with
receiver, number 12.
Cabo Midland transferred to Northwest is going to be out of this game, according to some sources. Give me Valley by 14.
Johnny?
I was at that game last week, Bow versus Valley. I mean, it didn't look like the Valley team that's been playing. Northwest coming off a high, beating Memphis last week. Man, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Valley pulls it out. I think it's close.
Well, I think Northwest is going to pull it out close. Valley, basically quit against Willisburg in the second quarter. And, it's not a real good sign that you just kind of lay down and let someone maul you, even though you get behind. And Northwest gets it tough. It'll be physical. And I think Northwest is a close game.
I think Valley's going to have a hard time bouncing back after last week's devastation. I feel that I don't know what's going on in Northwest, but Northwest, in my opinion, size-wise, meets the measurables we kind of talked about. The cookie cutter, their offensive line is the biggest offensive line in the county this year. I think they're averaging almost 242 across the front line. They just can't quite put it together and get it done. But I'm going to go with the Mohawks tonight as well to get it done over the Valley Indians. Memphis at West.
Honestly, I don't really think there's no doubt. The Senators, I mean, they've been struggling lately. I mean, a bad half against Hillsborough, and then a missed PAT cost them 2 losses. I really don't think this West team is as bad as the 1-3 record says. Give me West 35-7.
Landon?
I'm going to have to agree with you. Give me West here. Their quarterback threw 300 yards in week 3, but really never got noticed because Memphis quarterback came out and threw 400. Transferred from the school that we're at right now, Brody Hall. I think he leads the team. Him and Braden Atkins get it rolling. Give me the West by 14.
Johnny?
Well, you already know, graduated from West. That's my school. But I'm all about all schools down here doing good. But I'm going to go with my Senators, man. I think, like what they're saying, Brody Hall, man, he's been good. It's just overlooked because a lot of these losses, you don't ever look at the stats that he's putting up. But if the plays are called right, he gets warm, I'm telling you, it's going to be a bonfire tonight. And I'm telling you, they're going to be cooking people tonight.
Coach?
I think it's going to be a close game. I think I'm leaning a little more toward West, I guess, from tradition. They've always traditionally stepped up. I know they're down right now. They're down on a number of seniors. And if you don't have many seniors, I don't care who coaches them, you ain't going to win very many games. But I think they'll come out and get Memphis in a close game.
I'm going to go with West as well, and Coach Gillum. I agree with you guys. I don't think their record reflects a couple small, minor things that's happened in some games over there. They're probably looking to be on 4-0, or 5-0, going into 5-0. So I'm going to go with West. Fairland at South Point.
I feel like Fairland surprised a lot of people last week going in beating a Gallia Academy. Gallia Academy has a very good quarterback. Me and Landon saw them upset Portsmouth, and I really like how Fairland's playing right now. I mean, I think they're going to get to the quarterback. I don't really think that it's even close. Give me Fairland.
Landon?
I'd have to totally agree. Fairland's got grit. They got heart. Coming down at 2 West week 1, being down by a lot, going into halftime, coming out, scoring 2 touchdowns, and scoring another one right before the game ended, recovering an onside kick. That takes heart, recovering an onside kick, especially in that type of game, week 1, whenever you're fresh. Give me Fairland by 24.
Johnny?
I got to agree with these guys. I'm going to go with Fairland. I think like we were talking about earlier in this pregame, how we talked about how the week 1, everyone's still figuring things out. I think Fairland slowly figured their offense, their defense out. And I think they come in, and I think they put on a show.
Once again, if you have that side-by-side,
I don't know much about either one of them.
it needs to be moved.
I'm going to go with Fairland on the fact that in their past, they've been pretty good, and South Point has not been very good. And so I'm going to go with Fairland.
I'm going to go with Fairland, and the simple fact that I'm going to go with Fairland is I'm a little disappointed. South Point has a freak athlete up there right now. The kid is 6'7", 309 pounds, who has a full ride offer from Auburn, who has never played football today in his life, who is going to Tennessee to throw shot and disc. He has never played football a day of his life, and you've got the Green Mile that's walking down your hallway who has never played snap. But I'm gonna go with the Fairland Dragons. You know, so all right, Colgrove at Gallia Academy.
You know, a lot of people really think that Gallia Academy is the right place to play, and I really do agree. But there's one thing that Colgrove has that Gallia Academy doesn't, and this is a guy named Caden Murphy, the running back. Gallia Academy didn't do too well defending the run against Portsmouth. What I saw, they don't got a lot of big guys up front. And I'm sorry to my Blue Devil fans, but I'm taking Caden Murphy and the Golden Hornets to win by a couple points.
Landon?
You know, this is a tough one. OVC, it's not as good as it always is. A couple teams left. It's cutthroat. But I really like Gallia. The quarterback might be a little bit cocky, but I love it. I love the energy he puts out. I love how he battles. Gallia's defense is slept on, especially versus Portsmouth at home. Had 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. I love it. Give me Gallia by 10.
Johnny?
It's kind of hard one to pick. I mean, you look at on one hand, Gallia's on a momentum run right now. They've been doing real good the last couple of weeks. Then you got Colgrove, which has had a phenomenal year so far. But you know what? I'm going to go with Colgrove. I think they're going to go to smash mouth football, run that ball, and it's going to be hard to stop.
Coach?
I'll go with Colgrove because one reason is because it's a grass field, because they like to run the ball and keep it close like that. And that field at Gallipolis is the most pathetic football field you ever saw, and it smells to high heaven because it's near a sewer, or it is a sewer. With all this rain, it's a mud hole, and I think Colgrove will fare a little bit better. They're usually a little bit bigger. And Jackson pounded Gallipolis unmercifully, so I'm going to pick Colgrove.
I'm going to go with Colgrove as well. I'm going to skip this last game, which is where we're at tonight here at the end. Coach, the one thing that we do at the end, who is your pick for college football to win the national championship?
Buckeyes.
Buckeyes, that was really fast. There was no thought process. He knew it right off the rip. Notre Dame is horrible, Clark Delabar, so I'm just telling you now. It is not Notre Dame. They lose tomorrow. So, all right, last pick of the night, guys. We're here live at the Ed. You know, we got the Boo Birds out. So, here live at the Ed. Again, River City Sports Media bringing you the pregame show. Again, thank you to our sponsors that's out there, the Scioto River, the Portsmouth UPS, Next Level CrossFit. We've got Brace Yourself Orthodontics, and then AB Photography. So, last pick of the night, Berg, Ironton, both teams undefeated. Malachi.
You know, Berg, their defense has done amazing this year. I'm not going to lie. They really impressed me last week versus Valley. I really liked Valley heading into the season. And Berg kind of shocked my world a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But I think Ironton is just so much more talented. And I think St. Williams is going to be hard to stop. I think it's a close game in the first half, but Ironton pulls away, 31-13.
Wow. Radar.
Ironton, 42-28.
Landon.
You know where we're at? We're at the end. Willisburg battles at the end. I don't care what the score said last year. I love this Pirates team. I love their defense. Give me the W to pull it off versus the #1 team in the state.
All right. What about you, Johnny?
This game is it's kind of hard to say because both of them are both fighters. They're both proven that. Both of them are good, and they're playing at the ship. I mean, it's going to be a tough game, but I'll say it's going to be a halftime. It's going to be a close game, then Ironton takes off at the end. But again, I'm going to say one thing about it. You can't take away from either one of these teams. They're both great teams. This is going to be the fight of the life tonight, guys. I mean, this is going to be the game to watch. If you're not here, you're not watching the game of the week. I'm just saying.
That's
So
right.
I'm going to go with Ironton on this one.
So somebody's getting their first loss tonight, by the way.
Yeah, someone.
Right? Coach, who do you got?
Well, again, it's tough, no question about it. Man for man, Ironton's more talented.
Yes.
They're definitely more talented. They're bigger. They're running backs. They've got a running game, which Willisburg's a little lax in the running game. And if you can run the football, you're pretty hard pressed to win. I don't care what level it is. I'm knocking Willisburg. It's just a fact. Ironton's 2 or 3 running backs. Willisburg doesn't have 2 or 3 running backs.
Yes.
Willisburg's defense has been playing really well lately. Ironton's defense plays pretty good. So in any big game, which this obviously is, it'll come down to turnovers. If you turn the ball over tonight, you're going to get beat. If you keep the ball and don't turn it over, you got a good shot at winning. And I look for it to be a close game, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because both of them play good defense. So, winning, I'm not going to pick.
All right. So,
Coach is staying neutral. Coach is staying neutral.
My heart's Willisburg and everything, but Ironton's pretty tough. But if Willisburg's defense, the key of this game, I think, is if Willisburg's defense plays like they have been and take the ball away, they can win.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they can't.
So, last week I caught a lot of flack because I did take Valley over Willisburg,
I did too.
which was a business decision, but it got people talking about the stream and the show. This week, I agree. There's just Ironton's at a different level. What Coach Pendleton has done there since he's been here is a different level. Kudos to Coach Pendleton and those guys. I take nothing away from Willisburg, but my pick tonight, I'm going to have to go with the Pirates. I'm going with the Pirates.
That's right. That's right.
Fits you well.
Can he get it up? Oh, there we are.
Guys, that's going to do it. That's going to wrap up the pregame show here at the Ed. All right, we got some balls we're going to throw, footballs we're going to throw out. Again, thank you to our sponsors. Brace yourself orthodontics, the River, the Portsmouth Brewing Company, the Portsmouth UPS, AB Photography. Make sure you follow us on River City Sports Media, RCSM 740. Make sure you follow us. Coach, I appreciate it. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to come up.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
It means the world to me that you took time out of your day to come up here.
Honor to be here.
It was an honor to
Thank
play
you.
for you.
Thank you.
For the guys that didn't play for this guy was like a second father to anybody that ever played for this guy. I promise you that. I promise you that.
That means the most to me.
So,
Anything.
it did. So, again,